Hey, Health Nuts, Dr. Kevin here. Happy Monday to you, Monday morning. We've been away for way over a week and just getting back in the swing of things. So we're talking cortisol and whew, it is bright and sunny this morning. We're talking cortisol on our Facebook page, and I'm going to try YouTube just for fun. I heard YouTube was pretty awesome, the live videos, and I have like zero YouTube followings. I hide a lot of YouTube videos in our channel and then distribute them to when people give me messages about certain things, but most of them aren't even visible to the public. But now maybe this is the start of something. So maybe this is the start of something. We're gonna get used to it, or we're gonna see how it works, and then we'll be posting on our Facebook page from YouTube. So if you want, like our YouTube channel, and you can get these things live like we've always done through Facebook, we'll go live on YouTube and then repost to Facebook. I think that's how it works. I'm not a social media junkie. I really am not. I get used to one thing and then I want to just do that one thing. I don't want to learn a new thing. But maybe today's the day to learn a new thing. Anyway, we're talking cortisol, and this is kind of a recap, but it's super, super important because cortisol gets a lot of bad press because it ends up doing bad things in our body, but it's not because of cortisol. Cortisol is not the reason. It's because we're reacting to our environment in a very, very unhealthy manner. So cortisol is part of our protective fight or flight mechanism in our body, but that was always designed to be a few minutes maximum at a time, not a few days, not a few weeks, not a few months, years, decades for some people. That is dangerous, and it literally takes years and probably even decades off of our lives if we are stuck in the fight or flight stress response. We're not designed for that. And if you feel like you're there, you gotta, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but we gotta consider, is this a situation? We can take it kind of like a fight or flight response. Like if you're in the middle of a woods hunting and gathering your food like we were thousands of years ago, and a bear comes up and attacks you, you are either going to fight that bear away or you're going to flee. And cortisol is part of the protective mechanism that gets you out of that situation, makes you faster or stronger than you've ever been in your life. That's the fight or flight response, and it's amazing. So if you're stuck in that mode, we can use that same thing, that fight or flight stress response, that fight or flight mechanism, to take care of this situation. Whatever it is that you're stressed about, think about this. I'm gonna either, is it worth it to me to have been stressed for the last 10 years? I'm either gonna fight that problem away and do what I need to change the situation, or I'm gonna flee from it. It's not even worth having in my life. That's a way we can consider. We are not designed to be stressed. We should not be stressed. Our trust should not be put in our ability or in our stress. We're putting our trust in being stressed. Maybe the problem's going to go away. I don't know. I'm just worried all the time. Work's not going great, or I'm in fear of getting laid off. You know what? If you're in fear of anything, in relationships, finances, jobs, whatever, either fight it, talk to who you need to talk to and confront the situation, or get out of the situation. It's not worth taking years off your life. It's not worth how you feel. I went on our Facebook page. I only want to make this a few minutes, so I'll try to get through everything I have written here. On our Facebook page a few days ago, I went through several things that this will make you feel like. You'll have abdominal weight gain if cortisol levels are too high, or it will be hard. It'll be very, very hard to reduce that abdominal weight gain. I'm not saying you have to have it, but it's more difficult to keep it off. You have like a puffy, flushed face, mood swings, increased level of anxiety. Of course, that's part of the stress response. Fatigue and decreased sleep, increased urination, irregular menstrual cycles and decreased fertility. There's reasons why this happens. Some parts of when you're in fight or flight stress mode, some parts of your body don't work as well, because if you think about being chased by a bear in the woods, part of the reason why we have so much energy going to our muscles and our legs to get out of the situation or to fight off the situation is because the energy is being taken from other systems in the body that aren't necessary when you're in stress mode. And reproductive system, digestive system, immune system, all of those things are some of the systems that start to reduce themselves, or the energy that goes to them. Increased infection susceptibility, there you go, immune system. Increased blood pressure, which is part of that whole stress mode. You need increased blood pressure when you're in that stress response. Acne or other skin problems, increased risk for bone fractures, osteoporosis, increased muscle aches, decreased libido, and increased thirst. These are things that you might be experiencing when you have increased levels of cortisol. But remember, it's not cortisol. If it was cortisol itself, then we just go to the adrenals and take them out so we don't make cortisol anymore. Cortisol is part of our whole package. It's part of how we're supposed to live and thrive, but we are not supposed to produce too much of it forever. It's like saliva. You don't want your mouth to water all the time. Maybe just when you see some yummy food that your mouth is starting to water because that saliva helps break down food. But do you really want saliva to just be dripping out of your mouth all day, every day? Do you really want that? No. So saliva is a good thing. We don't want to take our salivation glands out. We don't want to take those out, right? Because we want saliva when it's necessary, but we don't want it pouring down our face. It's the same thing with cortisol. We don't want it too high forever, right? So, last thing, a couple last things. 5 things that can increase cortisol that are in the standard American life right now. Increased glycemic diet. That's heavy on the refined sugars, heavy on the refined carbohydrates. Many prepackaged boxed foods are going to be super high, so check into those. We want natural sugars. We don't want to go overboard on them, like a ton of fruit, a ton of bananas, but natural sugars are all right, in moderation. Increased trans fats, increased caffeine. And trans fat's just going to be the stuff that's like super unnatural, and if like a cow is eating a lot of grains, that's going to shift the fatty acid profile to unhealthy fats rather than omega-3 fatty acids. Increased caffeine, and that also goes for margarine and just anything that doesn't seem natural, whether it's man-made stuff or it's actually animals, so it's not man-made, but it's animals that ate the wrong stuff and then what they produce. You can rest assured it's going to have some trans fats included. I see a rabbit outside. That's nice. It's a big one. Increased caffeine and or alcohol. Or sorry, not increase. I have an arrow there, but it's just I don't feel like either one of those things are horrible in very, very moderate amounts, not excessive amounts, of course. Decrease antioxidants or micronutrients. We're starting some consulting with some people, doing some micronutrient testing. So sometimes it's hard to see which micronutrients you would be deficient in. So we want to provide sufficiency for the deficiencies. We don't want to provide sufficiencies for symptoms alone. We want to be able to see where the deficiencies are and then attack those deficiencies through testing. We figure those things out. And then decrease healthy fats. So increase trans fats, decrease healthy fats, produce increased cortisol levels, and even healthy proteins as well. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I will mention this, and then we might get into some products and different dietary tips, lifestyle tips to reduce cortisol levels naturally. Again, if we want to do it artificially, we just take out your adrenal glands or whatever. I mean, we want to make this healthy. We want to make this completely natural to reduce the stress response, reduce cortisol levels. Not artificial. That nothing good happens in an artificial way. I'm convinced. So my wife takes this regularly. It's called Cortistop, and it has some adaptogenic herbs within it. Adaptogenic just allows your body to respond in a natural way. They're not herbs that do one thing. They're herbs that do what the body needs the body to do. Okay, it's not like a medication that you take where it just does one thing. It lowers blood pressure. You know, that's what a medication would do. Adaptogenic herbs actually respond. It could increase blood pressure for one person. It could decrease blood pressure for another person, depending on what the body needs. These are adaptogenic herbs. So Cortistop is specifically targeting cortisol levels, adrenals, your HPA axis, which is your hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals, and just allowing that to get back in balance, which so many of us are way out of balance. So, sorry for rambling. Part of Beyond Essentials is to keep things simple, and you don't have to know most of what I just said, but I want you to know that everything I just said matters, and then we enter into the how. How do Great Monday, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye, guys.